I'm an only child, so it was just me and my mom and my dad. My dad's parents lived across the road from us. We lived way out in the country. My dad was, like I said, was a coal miner. His dad had been a coal miner. My mother did not work at the time, and he was a type 1 diabetic, which is the kind that you have from childhood. So he had been a diabetic since he was 12, had the insulin shots 3 times a day, ended up going into kidney failure and had to be on dialysis. And this was in the 80s. So we actually had to drive to Beckley 3 days a week for him to be on dialysis, which was about an hour from our house, until they finally put a dialysis machine in our house, until he was able to get on the transplant list and get a kidney transplant in Cleveland Clinic in the 80s. So it was a big, big deal back then. Like now, I think most surgeries are a few days. I mean, he was up there for a few months. I was in first grade at the time, and I got moved around from neighbor to neighbor, and my grandparents took care of me. And once he came home, he wasn't able to work anymore. My mom ended up having to get a job. And like I said, she just always really pushed education. You're smart. Let's, see what we can do with that. But you got to work at it because we can't pay for it. I've always said I'm not smart. I was just a good student. Like I was good at school, the process, the papers, the all of that. The most stressful part for me was probably, you're trying to keep everything together at home and be a good kid, and then go to school and still make friends and be a good kid. And I mean, we were poor at that point. We made just enough that we didn't get any assistance except for the free lunch program. I was a free lunch kid. So we worked on scholarships. We applied for every scholarship that was out there. I did the ACT prep classes so I could take the ACT. I was lucky enough to score high enough on the ACT that I got free tuition. I went to Fairmont State, which is in the northern part of the state. I won a family scholarship that was based in Summersville called the CAM Family Scholarship. And since I had free tuition already, they agreed to pay my room and board so I could go. And then once I got there, I worked for a professor, and I got like $200 a month maybe, and they waived my books. So I was able to actually graduate from college with no loans to pay back.